Welcome to Walker Talk, presented by Barely Sober News. This week on The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 10, called New Best Friends. I'm George Pecoraro, and with me is Christopher Joker.
Hey, what's going on? Is that really the name of this episode? I had no idea.
Yeah,
It's
New
really
Best
funny.
Friends. Check out Barely Sober News on Twitter and Instagram at Barely Sober News. And please like and subscribe, or else. And welcome, Walking Dead fans. So, Chris, how'd you like this week's episode?
I actually loved this episode a lot.
It was good, yeah.
It was it was so stupid in some ways, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Such a fresh, sort of episode. And I feel like this season's doing a much better job of blending all the storylines. We got to see most of the group again 2 episodes in a row. Can't even remember the last time that happened. And then on top of that, I mean, it was I feel like this is becoming like little Rick Grimes adventure of the day, which I kind of like, you know? That was pretty sweet, the whole Gladiator thing. But we'll get into it. But
it's been coming together pretty well. You don't have the evil person, Negan, but you don't need him right now because, there's a lot of interesting things happened today or in this episode that you kind of don't read. You're getting story, you're getting movement, you're getting them trying to gather troops.
I could be totally wrong about this, but it did cross my mind while I was watching. And we do know that the ratings kind of dipped a little bit last half season, and mainly because of those single character episodes that just kind of took forever. I was kind of wondering if maybe some of this was meant to be maybe this episode was meant to just be all about Daryl and Morgan and Carol and the Kingdom. But because of the backlash, they kind of mixed and matched a couple of different things. Right. It's possible. I'm not saying that's the case.
It could have been. They tried a new format last thing. I think everyone hated it, or at least a lot of people hated it. The ratings were down. You weren't watching pointless episodes.
Yeah.
So by blending Rick's story and with Daryl and Carol, it works.
Yeah, because every single one of those storylines would have been so much more boring if it was just stretched out into a single episode. So combining it all was great.
Just seeing Daryl and Carol is a good story, and you were kind of rooting for it. But just to have that, you would be like, ugh.
Yeah,
this is
totally
stupid. It's like a love story, and it's annoying and it's bothering with the whole kingdom, and Morgan still won't leave.
So I feel like a lot actually did happen in this episode. Let's kind of break it down in pieces here and go through it. So let's talk first about Daryl and Richard in the kingdom in the beginning of the episode. And Richard, I really like Richard's character. I love that he's willing to die for the kingdom. He's all in, balls to the walls. He's got all these secret plans and weapon stashes, and he sees Daryl as a guy that's kind of got the same mentality. Tries to bring him along for this little mission. Daryl's doesn't ask any questions before they go out there. But once he finds out that Carol is involved in being put at risk, he's all of a sudden, it's a no-go for him. So what did you think about that? I mean, I wasn't actually expecting them to kind of go at odds with each other.
Yeah, I wasn't either, but you could see, I mean, that Richard really is only for the kingdom. But Rick and his group, they're always for their people. I mean, granted, I guess you could say Richard's kind of like that, but it's different with Rick in the group. They'll give up where they are as long as the people are still together and his people are still alive, compared to Richard, who may sacrifice himself for maybe other people for the kingdom itself.
Yeah,
and
because
they kind of had that little standoff.
Yeah, the difference there is definitely even if Rick takes in random people and strangers, they become his people, and he protects them.
They're both loyal, but in different ways.
Yeah. Richard's a fucking full blown patriot, though. He's
he's for my country. And
I love it.
Rick and the group is for the people.
Yeah. So I thought that was a cool little just opening thing that when the episode started, I was like, okay, they're gonna drag this whole thing out, but no, that was it. It was just like they wrapped that up, and there's gonna be more to it at some point, but they didn't touch upon it really again in this episode, and I thought that was great. And then they move straight into probably the weirdest group of people we've ever seen in The Walking Dead, for sure. And
they were freaking me out.
And we were wrong last week, or I was wrong. They weren't the people that Tara ran into.
Right.
Definitely not. So yeah, they were
like garbage pickers or whatever.
the weird garbage pickers with the weird haircuts, the weird way of talking. I mean, one thing, it's like, how do these people get so weird? I know it's the zombie apocalypse, and they're... Oh, man, I don't know. Like, the Kingdom and this new garbage picker group, I'd love to know how they got to be so weird.
It's just, you get into... it's just like people creating accents, but they're still connected to the outside world. These people are only connected to themselves and no one else, so they're just creating this kind of culture...
But you ever think like
odd.
You ever think they ever like, hey, remember like only 2 years ago when we were like driving cars and eating at restaurants and being normal people,
reading books. But these people, they are very weird, and they have like their own like language and they have like, I don't know, like their own way of thinking. They all think like alike.
Yeah,
like the way they're doing, like even the leader,
Jadis. I think her name was Jadis.
She has like her hand signals, and they kind of get it.
Yep. And for some reason, I hated her haircut. It just drove me nuts. Jesus Christ. But
I bet she's the hot new fit. She's the hottest thing in that place.
But that was really cool, and it reminded me of like some weird like 80s sci-fi sort of like dystopian futuristic world. I don't know. It was like giving me like Mad Max vibes or something.
I was thinking that. Yeah.
And what's it called? They have that awesome scene where they throw Rick into the garbage pit, and the Gladiator style battle with this souped up zombie with all these knives and everything.
Oh my God.
I think that my only one regret with this episode is I feel like that scene could have lasted a little longer and could have been a little more interesting, because he basically just threw garbage on top of it and then cut its head off.
Yeah, he was like the coolest walker like we've ever seen.
Well, for sure. Yeah.
He's like cool, and like usually when people get thrown into like a battle fighting the walkers, it's just they're just walkers like tied up or something like that.
Yeah.
But this one actually had like things on it, like spikes and things on it to make it more interesting or difficult.
I would have loved for them to have come up with like just a slightly more clever way for Rick to have taken it down, because it didn't like. I feel like it didn't prove that Rick was like some great, leader or anything. He just kind of threw garbage on top of it. I mean, anyone could have really done that. So I wish they could have came up with something a little smarter, but it was still pretty awesome. And I was actually surprised that Rick got like stabbed through the hand. That's a pretty serious injury.
Yeah, that's especially because you don't realize how much you use your hands or you need something until you like hurt it. Like, you ever like cut your fingernail too short?
Oh God, yeah.
Like, kind of for like a week, you're like, my God.
Now it's his right hand. So comic book fans out there will know that way back in the Governor arc, Rick actually gets his right hand chopped off by the Governor. So he doesn't have a right hand through most of the series. They never did it in the show, obviously, and mainly for like budget reasons, because how are you going to like CGI out your main character's hand every episode? Right. But it's kind of interesting that they injured his right hand so badly that he's probably not going to be able to use it for this upcoming battle. Mm-hmm. So, that was pretty interesting.
Maybe we'll have, I don't know what he has in the comics, but maybe we'll have
he's just got a stump. He's got a stump for most of the series. Yeah, it's not till like way later on he gets like a prosthetic little claw hand thing.
What did Daryl's brother have?
He had like a knife attached. He had like a bayonet.
Why would he do something like that?
I don't know, man. It's a good question.
Crazy.
So that was all pretty sweet. What did you think of the ending with Daryl and Carol?
I thought it was a nice homecoming and a nice reunion, but I was also very confused, or like kind of like, why wouldn't Daryl say what happened?
Well,
To who died?
it's because he goes out there and he sees that
She
Carol's like living with her head in the sand, you know? She's
right.
she has had enough with this world. She's done. She's like spent, you know? She
Mm-hmm.
just can't handle anymore. As you would say, she can't hack it. And
Can't
so
hack it.
she couldn't hack it. So yeah, I think Daryl was just doing her a favor. He just knew like
Yeah,
she couldn't handle like
because
hearing.
Morgan did say if you told her, she would be here right now.
Yeah.
So Daryl just saw, and he knew that too. So he did it. He wanted her to enjoy her peaceful little thing she has going on.
Yep.
I mean, which is good for her, but it's like she's very valuable to have, in the battle.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Carol's completely out now. I mean, it just would feel weird. Like, why do you have her as a character if she's just going to be like living in the woods on her own? I feel like
Mm-hmm.
something's going to pull her into this
Yeah.
battle sooner or later, and I'd love to see. Maybe this is actually leaning towards like the death of Carol. Um, she could go out with a bang. Like she does seem like she's kind of done with this world. So, and I don't know. It would be interesting. I've been thinking Carol was going to die since like season one, though. So who knows?
Yeah, she keeps pulling through no matter what, even when she gets kicked out of the group.
I know. She's been like my number one to die since like season one. I remember way back being like, "Oh, that girl's definitely dying." So it hasn't happened yet.
Let's go on to what Rick has to do for these garbage people. He has to go find them a bunch of guns,
I know.
right? And then when they come to battle, he has to give them a quarter, 1/3 of everything.
To be honest, I
So,
was kind of like, "Damn, Rick, like you seem very happy about this, but was it worth it? You can't use your right hand anymore. Now you're basically like working for another group on top of Negan. You got to go find
right.
a bunch of guns, which we've like proven time and time again. It's hard to find guns in this world.
Maybe
So
I don't know. He's pretty confident that he's going to get some guns, give it to them, and go into battle. I mean, when you really think about it, the Saviors have all of his guns from
yeah,
Alexandria, so he needs gun. He needs
they
it.
need guns for sure.
So he might go get. They might go get. Find. Baby, they need to find some if they want to do this battle.
Which
So
I love that the story is becoming like pretty layered right now. We have like Negan and all those complications. We have the kingdom and everything going on there, Hilltop, Alexandria. Now we have this new garbage group and, dealing with their needs. So there's a lot going on in the plot right now. Like a lot more than The Walking Dead's ever had going on at once.
right, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can keep it up and keep the storyline moving. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, it seems like from what we're watching, it seems like they have listened to some of the criticism because I know 2 episodes is not enough to judge it on, but the plot is
right.
moving, and that is something that we always are striving for in the show.
And it seems like next week we'll get a little bit of Negan and Dwight.
Yeah,
Right, Dwight?
yep. Negan, Dwight, and Eugene looks like are going to be the
Eugene.
focus, which I don't mind as long as it's not just like a pure filler. I wouldn't mind seeing an episode with Negan now.
Right. I guess they're going out looking for Daryl.
Yeah, which that's another thing. Daryl's now walking back towards the hilltop. It's like,
Right.
damn, Daryl, just fucking stay at the kingdom. You're gonna get
Yeah,
caught.
but I'm surprised he stayed as long as he did.
Yeah, that's true.
He was leaving or trying to get out of there pretty quick, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing I was thinking about, or that sticks out in my mind, is what's the deal with Rosita? always having to like cause problems.
You know what? I can't stand her character. I don't know if it's the actress or the material she's being given, but she's been rubbing me the wrong way since she came on the show. Yeah, you're right. She's always got an attitude.
She doesn't want to be a part of like the group. She just wants to do her own thing, like all the time.
I get she's like pissed and frustrated, and Abraham was killed, but Abraham Abraham dumped her like a boss right before he got killed.
Mm-hmm. So not only did she get dumped, but then her kind of like ex-boyfriend died, and then she can't like resolve it, like have good feelings about it.
I get all that, but she's just not rubbing me as like a character that I like. I'm not being drawn to anything about her.
Right.
Besides her looks.
I know. And she like everyone's like, okay, we're going back to Alexandria, bringing them food, and we're gonna go back out and look for guns. And she's just like, no, I'm gonna go look for guns now.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that, she's arguing with Tara, who's another character I really don't like either. I just don't think she's that great of an actress, to be honest. And like every time she's on screen talking, it like throws me out of the world. I just can't picture someone like her like surviving, I guess, in the apocalypse.
Yeah, she is an odd fit for the group. When you think about it, like Rick and Michonne, like have their fit in it. And, like,
yeah.
The group with Daryl and this and that, and then there's like Tara.
Yeah, Tara just has always felt so out of place to me. So watching a scene with Tara and Rosita, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But
Tara getting serious. We're going back to Alexandria.
I mean, overall, I thought this was a great episode and said great things for the series moving forward. And all that garbage picker shit, that's not in the comic books at all. So it's like good to see them like straying from the comic books, taking some risks and doing some ballsy moves. And I love to see Rick Grimes in some, precarious situations fighting monster zombies.
Doing his Rick Grimes stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what's more Rick Grimes than him like confronting leaders of other groups and making deals and shit? He's been doing that since season 1.
Right? Doing like, how's Rick gonna get out of this? How's he gonna pull this off? And he's like, do kills the walker. We have a deal.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this has been a Walker Talk presented by Barely Sober News. I'm George Pecker, and with me is Chris Jokas. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Barely Sober News. You gotta like and subscribe on this motherfucker. See you next week. And don't forget to make some new junkyard friends this week.
Yep, take them to the up.
Night.